Hello YouTube, it's PH Gaming Scotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. So in today's video I thought I'd take stock and look at the gaming news stories that have made me want to have an opinion in the last week or two. So before we get into the video, this is just my own opinion of the gaming news stories that I want to cover. I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. So before we get into the video, just a bit of clarification. So the gaming news topics that I'm going to be covering in today's gaming news video are the whole loot box microtransaction scandal that's continuing to grow arms and legs. We have one of my favourite game publishers and some really bad news with them. And finally going to end the video on quite a happy or positive note, depending on which way you look at it, about the PlayStation Classic, giving you my own thoughts and opinions on that. So without further ado, let's jump into my gaming news video of the week. So to get things started, we're going to be talking about the microtransaction loot box scandal that's growing a lot of arms and legs, and it's getting quite serious for a particular publisher. Without further ado, we're going to talk about that now. So basically, to start things off, if you've not been following a lot of gaming news recently, or at all, or if you're not the sort of person that does follow gaming news, let me briefly break down of basically why are people so outraged about microtransactions and loot boxes. So first of all, you have to look back at when it first started. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was released in about 2016 by EA, and the game was initially liked by players, and then eventually found out in order to complete the game or get certain characters in the game, basically they were locked off behind a paywall, i.e. microtransactions. So in order to complete the game, you would have to spend a lot more money to get access to the later stages of the game. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a full price AAA game, and the EA have been that greedy that they wanted microtransactions, which caused a lot of people to boycott the game, not buy it, be really annoyed online with the current situation. As such, fast forward a few months later, Belgium being the only country currently, well there's a couple more now, but at the time Belgium was the only country that said publishers like EA, Activision Blizzard, Valve, etc. were breaking the country's gambling laws, and as such more countries started investigating, such as the Netherlands, and currently the Finnish police in Finland are also investigating microtransactions and the legality of them. And as at the time of recording, EA is currently under criminal investigation, and potentially this could be in the form of fines, or currently getting investigated by Belgium, the Netherlands, and also Finland as well. Absolutely brilliant, because EA have been running rampant for decades with their microtransactions in like games like FIFA, Shadow of War, and many other titles, and like the sports series like Madden, etc. Them who started this big issue, massive online backlash, hopefully will be the ones that are eventually going to end this issue, because bearing in mind, last year alone, EA made 67% of all their revenue from microtransactions, which equates to roughly $3 billion, which is a lot of money for manipulating their customers and not giving a toss about the people that have made them that money and buy their games, which is totally and absolutely disgusting. The EA would completely disregard the laws and the law in Belgium and Netherlands and Finland, and that's why they're currently getting investigated by the police and currently have a criminal investigation currently ongoing. So I'm not going to speak any more about that, but EA should be warned, and hopefully these people, the big wigs at the top of the company, face jail time, because that is absolutely disgusting. If they don't, even a fine will not deter them at this stage. And I really do feel sorry for the average talented, hard-working people of EA, the general game designers, the artists, everybody in the creative community that are just following orders and just working on the games they really want to play, because at the end of the day they are gamers as well. I feel sorry for these people, but at the same time you have to look at it on the whole. If EA are currently breaking the law in Belgium, and something's got to get done, which brings me on to my next point about it, that 15 countries and Washington State have all came together, signed this massive petition to finally once and for all get rid of the cancerous microtransactions from gaming altogether. So before we get into the next news item in today's video, I always want to know what your thoughts and opinions are for all the items of news being discussed in today's video. Please leave all your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I love to hear what you think and also love to read all your comments. Thank you. So the second news topic in today's video that I will be discussing is the really sad news that one of my favourite game publishers, Telltale Games, are to close down with the loss of 250 employees. Now there will be 25 employees staying on to finish the story mode for one of the Minecraft DLCs because they are contractually obligated to finish that game, and there are other games that they had planned, such as the current and final season of The Walking Dead, and also The Wolf Among Us 2 have been scrapped, cancelled at the time of recording, which is a real shame because there's people out there that have bought the season pass for The Walking Dead final season that aren't going to get their 4 episodes of the final season. There's currently one that's been released back in August, the second one is releasing this Tuesday, so that's episode 2. Episode 3 and 4 were meant to be coming out in November and December of 2018, but that does look unlikely now unless some massive push and crowdfund will be happening online in the coming days and weeks. We'll have to wait and see because these games are fantastic games. Telltale, if anyone doesn't know, is a massive game company or publisher that produces single player narrative experiences where basically your choices don't really affect the outcome of the game, but they kind of do, and at the end of each sort of episode you can see all your decisions that you've made compared to the whole world that's also played the game, which is quite cool, quite interesting. It's similar to sort of games like your Until Dawn, your Detroit Become Human, Beyond Two Souls, those type narrative experiences that kind of change as you progress through the game, but the graphic style is totally different, almost a sort of retro, sort of cartoony look, which is really fun and exciting, and it's really going to be sad to see them go. But I think it's due to the lack of innovation. All the games from 2012, especially The Walking Dead in 2012, was Game of the Year. It just shows you the power of these types of games, and also the really fun, easy, enjoyable platinums. Really good for your trophy hunters out there, but sadly they've shut down. The loss of 250 people and probably more in the coming days and weeks, and I'm hoping a crowdfunder will happen in the future, but hopefully everyone that's out there that's affected by it stay strong. And there's currently a hashtag Telltale Games on Twitter and I think Instagram, where all the other game companies are going to be hopefully trying to offer these other game employees jobs so they continue their gaming industry working life and experiences making games for us, because a lot of these people have families and kids to look after and are probably going from paycheck to paycheck, which majority of people are. Now that would affect anybody in that situation. If we were to lose our jobs, we'd be in a really bad situation in play. So having a good online community presence and trying to get a crowdfunder going for these people, or for the games to eventually finish and come out as per they were intended to do, will be hopefully a good thing, a good piece of good news that comes from this really devastating blow to the gaming industry. The first 2 topics were pretty depressing, to be fair, but that is what's been in the gaming news this week, in the last couple of weeks so far. The loot box scandal is continuing to grow arms and legs, and this really sad news that's just broke in the last day or two, in the last couple of hours actually, that Telltale Games, the fantastic single player narrative game publisher, is to close with the loss of 250 jobs, which is really sad to say the least, because I'm a massive fan. But I think it comes down to every game they've produced from 2012, from The Walking Dead to The Wolf Among Us, Tales of the Borderland and Back to the Future, and many other titles of that genre follow the same sort of single player narrative. In order to get the platinum, you have to just complete the game and then you get your platinum trophy, and also their episodic adventures, like almost like DLC. So each season there's like 4 or 5 episodes that come out maybe 2 or 3 months apart, just to spread the game throughout. And I think a lot of people like me were waiting till December to play the whole game experience throughout. And I really do feel sorry for the people that have bought the season pass. They've paid 25 quid for 4 episodes and they're only going to be getting 2 at the time of recording. So hopefully the final 2 will get released at a later date, because they're going to be in the crap, and also Telltale Games have unfortunately went into, from the recent reports online, bankruptcy, or filing for bankruptcy, which is absolutely horrendous. So my thoughts go out to everybody involved, and hopefully we're going to be finishing the video on a more positive, a lighter note. News that Sony is to release the PlayStation Classic in December. There has been a trailer out, and so I'm just going to quickly run over from my notes everything that's included in this PlayStation 1 Classic console. So it's 45% smaller than the original PS1. It's got HDMI output, so hopefully the games will be a bit higher quality of game. 2 original PS1 controllers without analog sticks, so I just hope from previous experience like the NES and SNES from Nintendo, the controller cables were really short, so hopefully they actually increase the length so you can actually sit down and play it with a friend with the 2 controllers. But that does mean a lot of games that use the analog sticks will be impacted quite severely. So there are obviously a reset button and open button. There's 20 preloaded games. There's been 5 games that have been announced, which are Final Fantasy VII, Jumpin' Flash, Ridge Racer 4, Tekken 3 and Wild Arms, with a total of 20 going to be preloaded onto the console at the time for launch. Now they have said that each country, like the UK, are going to have 20 different games to what America's going to have, to what Japan's going to have. So depending on where you're from will be determined in what 20 games you will get, which is, I don't know why they've done that. I think just for a money making exercise, so it'll make you try and buy a UK PS Classic, and like an American or Australian PS Classic, and also a Japanese version of it, which is a bit steep, to be honest. The price is currently between £80 and £90 for a console that's 45% smaller. It's going to have 20 games, and it will be releasing on the 3rd of December 2018. Now, personally, when I first heard of it, I was a bit shocked, because initially I was not expecting this, but I kind of thought there would be like a PlayStation 1 Classic eventually further down the line, because they have been really good successes from Nintendo, and I think Sony's jumping on the bandwagon and releasing one of their own, which I'm looking forward to. But at the time of recording, it's sold out everywhere. We don't know the full 20 games, and you can also play your PS1 games currently on your PS3. Don't know what version of your PS3 that does include, but you can still do that. And also found out recently that PS1 games can also be played on your CD player, as the sound files back on the PS1 days were made differently, that basically if you put certain PS1 games like Die Hard Trilogy, I'm sure it's Tekken, they'll put a list in the comments and in the description down below of what games can be played on a CD player, which is quite a new interesting fact I didn't know about. Let me know your thoughts about that down below. That basically once you put the PS1 game into your CD player, I've not tested this by the way, I will be testing it and reporting back to you down in the comment section, but it basically gives you an awesome soundtrack of the game from the second song, as it were, onward. So I will be trying that out, and I will be letting you know if it's a lot of rubbish or if it's genuine, because I have read a lot of stuff online, but without actually trying it out further, I can't confirm that is the case, but I will be trying that out. So as always guys, there have been my 3 gaming topics, your continuous loot box microtransaction scandals continue to grow arms and legs. You have the really sad news that Telltale Games are closing, losing 250 people, and also 2 current games have been cancelled. And also the bit of good news that PlayStation are bringing on their new Classic. I personally think it is fantastic news that they're bringing it out, but I personally am a collector, and from a collector's point of view, I've still got my original PS1 hardware, and I still enjoy collecting the PS1 games when I'm out and about in charity shops or at gaming events or what have you. So I will still continue to collect PS1 games, either online or at conventions or in shops. But I think for a really small number of hardcore fans that this will be important. I might buy it further down the line if it does come down in price, but at the moment, as I've said, everywhere's sold out of it, and I don't know if they'll be making more, because at the end of the day Nintendo didn't make enough SNES and NES consoles, but we'll have to wait and see for that. And as always, I'd like to know what your thoughts and opinions are of the gaming news subjects or topics that I've discussed in today's video. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you very much indeed for watching. I've been PH Gaming Scotland, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Bye bye.